Transit, what is going on this morning? How is everybody doing? We're doing good? Yeah? Yeah? Nice Lighthouse shirt. That's awesome. That's awesome. My name is Christian. If you're new to Transit, I hope you have an excellent morning because we got a whole lot of stuff planned for you. But first, we got to cover this. It's very important. Where are my sixth graders in the room? Oh yeah, look at them. Look at them go. Look at them go. Where are my seventh and eighth graders in the room? Okay, solid. Guys, we have this thing coming up called sixth grade camp. You've heard about it, you know about it. But here's what I need to know. I need to know if you're in seventh or eighth grade and you absolutely love sixth grade camp when you win. I want to hear you in 3, 2, 1. Okay. That is a lot of proof that you guys should sign up when you're in sixth grade. But here's even more proof. Here's an awesome video to show you how cool sixth grade camp is. Sixth grade camp, sixth graders, go tell your parents right after this, mom, dad, grandma, sister, brother, whatever, I gotta be at sixth grade camp because I promise, I'm not just saying this because I'm the dude up here, it is a can't miss weekend for a sixth grader. It's gonna start you off so well in middle school, great friends, great group, it's gonna be awesome. But first, I'm gonna reference why I'm wearing this crazy shirt. We are at Summer at Sea this summer, we're super pumped, and today, we're at none other than, I think you saw it, Australia. That's right. So here's what I need. I don't know if you guys, who's been to Australia before? No way. How was it? You don't know because you didn't go. That's probably why you don't know. Guys, Australia is known for one thing and one thing only. Crocodiles. So here's what I need. I need 2 people up here right now. 1, 2. You and you. Get up here. Let me see. Bring out those crocodiles real quick. There we go. Anybody ever use these at the pool? Yeah, they're solid. It's my preferred flotation device, to be honest. Guys, here's how this is gonna work. I need to split the room in half. So if you're right here, just go that way. If you're right here, just go that way. That's right, split it. Pick a side. It's very important. Pick a side. What is your name?
Jacob.
Jacob, do you know what you just signed up for?
No.
It's very unwise, Jacob. It's very unwise. What is your name?
Morgan.
Morgan, do you know what you just signed up for?
No.
Okay, here's how this is gonna work. You're gonna grab your crocodile and you're gonna jump off and surf the, no, I'm just kidding. How this is gonna work, guys, is these 2 people right here, Jacob and Morgan, they're gonna throw the crocodile into the crowd. This is where you guys come in. You're gonna push the crocodile all the way to the back of the room, you're gonna crowd surf it back, and then it's gonna come up on stage. The first crocodile and the first team to get their inflatable crocodile to the back of the room and back up on the stage is gonna win an awesome prize for your whole group. So here's what I need. Who's rooting for Jacob? Okay, that's solid. Who's rooting for Morgan? Okay, let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, there's some solid movement happening. There we go. That's good. Throw it back. Oh my gosh, the throw. Jacob! That was insane. Jacob, how do you feel?
Good.
You should feel good. Morgan, you did an excellent job. Put her here. That is awesome. Guys, because you did such an amazing job, we have a little prize for you. Jacob, we heard you love stuffed animals, so why don't you go ahead and pick one out real quick. Just grab one. That's right. And for Jacob's team, that's right. Welcome to the safari. You guys get some stuffed animals. Look at this. Oh no, that did not work. I'm just gonna dump them right here. That is great, that is awesome. Guys, I hope you enjoyed your trip in Australia. I am your certified, bona fide transit cruise director, and we have an awesome morning this morning, so why don't you go ahead and stand on up, bring it in like 3 Franken-sized steps. Go ahead, bring it on in. There we go. Turn to your neighbor. I want to ask your neighbor, how was 4th of July? There we go. 4th of July was good. How was your 4th of July? Good? Perfect? Yeah. Good? That's great. We ready to rock and roll? Let's do it. Transit, are you guys ready? Let's do it.
All right, Transit, how we feeling? Are we good? Okay, good to hear. Well, you knew this one, so let's sing along, let's dance. All right, come on, let's go. Here we go. All right. Sing this out with me. Come on. I give you my attention, all my focus, pushing off the limits. In this moment, I feel your spirit moving all around me. Come and have your way. That's right. I'm looking at the dry bones. You're reviving this faith inside of my soul. You're igniting. You're calling me to levels that are higher. I can see your face. Here we go. You know this. When I set my eyes on you, here we go. Everything else fades. When I look your way, everything else fades. When I look your way, everything else fades. All right, let's sing this out. Gaze upon your beauty, full of wonder, the one falling behind me. There's no other name like your name, and there's nothing that can take your place. When I set my eyes on you, everything else fades. Let's go. When I look your way, everything else fades. When I look your way, everything else fades. Let's sing this out. Dancing in the light of your glory, joy is awakening, rising like the sun every morning. Hope is alive in me. Oh, we're dancing in the light of your glory, joy is awakening, rising like the sun every morning. Hope is alive. All right, Transit. When I set on you, sing that out. When I set my eyes on you, one more time. Here we go. When I set on you, here we go. Everything else fades. Jump. When I look your way, everything else fades. That's right. When I look your way, everything else stays. Amazing, Transit. Okay, well, we're gonna keep singing, and I want to try something. We did this a few weeks ago. When it gets to the chorus, I want everyone to put their hands up and wave like this. Can we do it? Here we go. You say you love me, but how could you when I ran so far? And still you want me when I lose sight of where you are. But it only took a moment with you, a glimpse of life with purpose. And I knew that living where the light is, oh Lord, it's exactly where you want me. Here we go, ready? If I want to leave, so I'm gonna stay in your presence. Nice job, Transit. All right, we're gonna keep singing for one more song. This one is about giving him our thanks, our gratefulness for how he's worked in our lives. So let's keep singing. All my words fall short. I've got nothing new. How could I express all my gratitude? I could sing these songs as I often do, but every song must end, and you never do. So I throw up my hands and praise you again and again, 'cause all that I have is a hallelujah, hallelujah. And I know it's not much, but I've nothing else fit for a king except for a heart singing hallelujah, hallelujah. I've got one response. I've got just one move. With my arms stretched wide, I will worship you. So I throw up my hands and praise you again and again, 'cause all that I have is a hallelujah, hallelujah. And I know it's not much, but I've nothing else fit for a king except for a heart singing hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, it's all we have. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, just give him your praise this morning. Let it come from your heart. Let's sing this out. So come on, my soul, don't you get shy on me. Lift up your song, 'cause you've got a lion inside of those lungs. Get up and praise the Lord. Yeah, yeah. So come on, my soul, don't you get shy on me. Lift up your song, 'cause you've got a lion inside of those lungs. Get up and praise the Lord. Oh, yeah. So come on, my soul, don't you get shy on me. Lift up your song, 'cause you've got a lion inside of those lungs. Get up and praise the Lord. So come on, my soul, don't you get shy on me. Lift up your song, 'cause you've got a lion inside of those lungs. Get up and praise the Lord. Yeah. We give you our praise, all our worship, all our adoration, Lord. Hey, it's all for you. Sing that again. So I throw up my hands. I throw up my hands and praise you again and again, 'cause all that I have is a hallelujah. And I know it's not much, I have nothing else fit for a king except for a heart singing
grateful for the time that we get to be refreshed with that truth. That we don't need to bring you anything but ourselves, anything but our authentic worship. We just say thank you. We just say we love you, and we bring you a hallelujah. Thank you for the gift that it is to gather in this room this morning, to be with our friends, be with our small group leaders. Pray that you bless our time together. We love you. It's in your name we pray. Amen. We love you guys. Thank you so much for singing. Y'all can have a seat.
Yo, what's good, Transit? Yeah! My man, let's go. Man, you're excited to be here. I love that. I love that. Hey, what's up, Transit? My name is Ben. If we haven't met, which I haven't met a bunch of you, hey, if you're a sixth grade in the room, make some noise. Love it. Haven't been in here since you guys have been, upgraded to Transit. So, hey, so good to see you guys. Hope your summer's been going well. Hey, just real quick, just to start us off, I want to know how your summer's going. I've had a really great summer so far, and I know you guys are really excited about school starting back, right? But I want to know. So, thus far in your summer, I want to know from all of you what's been your favorite part of the summer so far. So I'm going to give you a second to think about it. All right, you got it. Okay, at the count of three, I just want to just yell it out. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. My man right here is like, sleep. I get it, dude. Hey, you're about to have to wake up. Well, no, middle school, you get to sort of sleep in, which is great. Relatively, right? Like we would all love to sleep until like 10 o'clock. Well, hey, I'm glad your summer's going well. I'm glad you're here in Transit. Hey, sixth graders, definitely sign up for sixth grade camp. It's like literally the best way to start middle school. It's gonna be an amazing weekend. It always is. Today we are starting a new series called 100%. 100%. I get to kick off this series, and I'm really excited about it. But the basic idea of this series, here in Transit, we say this sort of mantra all the time is we want to help you develop a faith of your own. And so in this series, we're actually going to be talking about how can you have a faith that is like 100%? How can you have a faith in God? How can you trust God 100% of the time? And so I didn't actually want to start this conversation by myself, so I need some help. I need like a volunteer. Okay? Yeah. Hey, come on, you like stood up. Come on, dude. Yeah, number 3. Yeah, come on, dude. Come on. Give it up for number 3. Yes. Don't know his name yet, but I'm gonna find it out. All right, come here, dude. Come here. What's up, man? Hey, what's your name? Peyton. You gonna give me a high five? You're just gonna leave me hanging. All right, cool. All right, Peyton, what jersey is that? Who is that? Sterling Shepard. You like Sterling Shepard? Yeah. Yeah, you a big Giants fan? Okay, yeah, someone doesn't like Sterling Shepard back there. But all right, Peyton, here's the go. Oh, and the Giants shoes? Man, you just love the Giants. Hey, don't sit in that chair yet. What are you doing? Okay, hey, but you're going to have an opportunity to. All right, Peyton. All right, Peyton, I have a question for you. You're getting a little ahead of the game. What is this right here? A chair, right? Are you sure it's a chair? You're positive it's a chair?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Do you like chairs?
No.
Why don't you like chairs?
They're
No? They're rolling?
No, boring. What?
Boring. They're boring. Okay, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, but chairs are pretty useful, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there like a certain kind of chair that you like the most? Like, no? You don't have a preference? You just like, you want a working chair, right? Yeah. You don't. Do you guys want a working chair? Yeah, we want a working chair, right? Okay, so I have real quick, you can sit in the chair in a second. No, not yet. But do you trust this chair?
Yes.
Like, hey, will you inspect it real quick? I want to make sure that you really trust the chair. You don't even have to you're just like, it's good. Yeah. Why do you trust it so much? It's metal, okay? It's got 4 legs, right? I think, yeah? Okay. All right, so are you sure you trust this chair?
Yes.
Positive?
Yes.
Positive. Do you guys think you should trust this chair? I don't know. This is like, are you sure? Okay. All right, go ahead and have a seat. Go ahead and wait. Are you sure you trust the chair?
Yes.
Positive.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna count you down from 5, and you're gonna sit in the chair. All right, ready? Ready? Are you ready? Ready? Can you guys help me count down? Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a seat. Oh, let's go, Peyton! Hey, give it up for Peyton. Let's go. Hey, that chair, it worked, didn't it? That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, you guys give it up for Peyton. That's all you had to do, man. That's it. Give it up for Peyton. All right. I know that was ridiculous, right? But I want you to see where I'm going with this morning. Whenever we see a chair, right? Chairs are amazing, honestly, like, right? Like, think about whoever invented the first chair was brilliant, right? Like, whenever I sit in a chair, I don't think twice about this chair, right? I don't think twice about this chair holding me up. I trust this chair. I trust chairs in general 100% of the time, unless it's one of those like cheap, like tailgating chairs that you like fold up, like those, you never know with those, right? But like a metal chair, 4 legs, like it's structurally sound, it's sturdy, right? Like I trust this chair 100% of the time. And that's what we're gonna be talking about the next couple weeks. Not in trusting chairs 100% of the time, but we want you to trust God 100% of the time. You see, we want you, when it comes to your faith, we want you to approach your faith and approach how you view your faith and how you trust God with 100% confidence in who God is. But life is a little bit more complicated than just sitting in a chair, right? Like when it comes to your faith in God, when it comes to your faith in general, what you believe about God, like it's a little bit more complicated than just sitting in a chair, right? You might have some questions or some doubts that if you can actually trust God 100% of the time, because here's the deal. Like the reason why is because we all experience life, and life typically doesn't go the way that we thought it would. Life typically doesn't go the way that we expected it would, or expect it to go. Right, like you might have worked really hard, like for really good grades, but at the end of the school year, like you're still struggling. Like life doesn't, that's not expectation that you like wanted to have great grades and you worked really hard, but it just didn't pan out that way, right? Or maybe you thought that middle school was gonna be like really fun and like you're gonna have this huge friend group and you were gonna be really popular and everyone was gonna know your name, but to be honest, like you're about to go into 8th grade and you're like, that's really not how my life looks right now, right? Like life is just hard. Like there's a lot of disappointments in life. Or maybe for you, this happened to me when I was in middle school. When I was in middle school, I lost a grandparent for the first time. That was the first time that one of my grandparents died and passed away. And that was a really difficult thing for me to process at the time because up until that point, I hadn't really experienced that kind of loss before. And I didn't know what to expect. I thought I was gonna have a lot more time with I called him my papa. He lived in Richmond, Virginia, right? Like I thought I was gonna have a lot more time with him, but I didn't. You see, life was hard. It wasn't going the way that I thought it would. And when life sort of hits us with that, when we sort of experience those things in life, that the unmet expectations or the disappointments in life, and you're going to experience them as you continue to get older, as you continue to become an adult, you're gonna experience that. And when we experience that, it's really hard to say that we trust God 100% of the time. And so if you're here this morning and life is honestly pretty great, right? Like it's summertime, you just maybe got back from the beach or you had a great 4th of July and your family's all together and you got a great friend group. Like if that's your life right now, like I love that for you. I want that for you. I want that for everybody. I want that for myself, right? But here's the deal. I promise you that there's gonna be something later on that is gonna disappoint you, that's gonna let you down in life. And so I want you to continue to tune in this morning because I think what we can talk about can apply to everybody. And if you're in the room this morning and life isn't so great, right? Like you and your best friend just had some like massive falling out, right? Or maybe you found out recently that your parents are going through a really rough time and they might split up. Or maybe you did like me in middle school, like you lost someone recently. If that's you in the room and you're struggling to have that like 100% faith in God, that trust in God, I hope today is encouraging for you because we're actually gonna unpack some people in the Bible over the next couple of weeks that we can see that have this 100% faith in God. And so the people we're gonna talk about this morning are they're a married couple, and it's Abraham and Sarah. Abraham and Sarah. You guys at the count of 3 say Abraham and Sarah. 1, 2, 3. Abraham and Sarah. Okay. Thank you. So Abraham and Sarah are like one of the first couples we see in the Bible. Some of the first people we see in the Bible. This is like happened thousands of years ago. And the amazing thing about this couple is that, again, they were sort of one of the first the people to like walk on this earth. Like, it's crazy to think about. Like, they were one of the first people to like populate the earth. And they had this amazing relationship with God. You see, Abraham was really blessed by God. He was given a lot by God. He was a shepherd. That's sort of like all you could really do back in the day was like take care of sheep, right? And he had amazing wealth, and he had a lot given to him by God. But the sort of the unfortunate thing about Abraham, you see, like if you were to look at his life from the outside, you would see, oh, like Abraham and Sarah, they've got it going well, right? Well, the disappointing thing, the way that life was not going well for Abraham, was that Abraham and Sarah didn't have a child. And back in the day, like not having a child was sort of the culture. It was really difficult. There was a lot of disappointment that came with that, because basically what that meant was that everything that God had given Abraham, everything that Abraham and Sarah had, was not gonna go to their family. Their family lineage was gonna end because there had no heir to give it to. Abraham had and Sarah had no one to give all this sort of wealth and the resources and things that God had given them. He had no one to give it to. And so he had this sort of, what that meant was it had to go somewhere. He was gonna have to give it to someone who worked for him. And back in the day, that was a huge, major letdown. That was a disappointment for Abraham and Sarah. And so, because, at this time, life is not going great for Abraham, right? Like, instead of sort of, dismissing God and saying like, oh, forget you, man. Like, life isn't going great. Like, I gotta figure this out myself, right? He actually goes to God and he asks God, he says, God, why don't I have a son? Why don't I have a daughter? Why don't I have a child? Like, we've been trying. Like, we really, this is something we really desire. And God tells Abraham this. God, he took him outside and said, God said to Abraham, look up at the sky and count the stars, if indeed you can count them. Then he said to him, so shall your offspring be. Abram, who's also Abraham, just for clarity, believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. So God takes Abraham up into this mountaintop. And I don't know if you've ever been like camping before or like gotten away from the city, but like when it's dark outside and you're like away from city lights and you look up, you see thousands, millions of stars. And you can think about way back in the day when like electricity wasn't even a thing yet, right? Like they didn't have light bulbs or whatever. Like, can you imagine how many stars Abraham was seeing? And God tells him, hey, see all these stars? Your descendants, your family is gonna be immeasurably more than what the stars that you see. And think about Abraham in that moment. He's like, man, at this point, he's like 70, 80 years old. And he's like, God, are you serious? I imagine that would be going through my mind, right? Like, God, are you serious? Like, I don't have a child. How am I gonna have this many kids? Or how is my family gonna look like this, right? But instead, what does Abraham do? He believes. He believes the Lord. He believes the Lord. And so you can imagine that, Abraham sort of comes down from the mountain. He goes up to Sarah and he's like, Sarah, you'll never believe what God told me. Like, God told me that we are going to have a family. We're going to have children. And when I have two kids. I have two kids. My oldest, when we first found out that Skylar was going to be born, like my wife and I were so excited. Like we're, getting the nursery ready. We're painting it pink. I'm putting together the IKEA crib that takes me like 6 days to put together, but eventually, it comes together, right? Like we're so excited. I imagine Abraham and Sarah are the same way. They're so excited for this baby that they've been waiting for a long time to come. But what happens? Well, if you look at the story, you see that there's some time. There's some time that passes after God promises this to Abraham. Years go by. And I imagine, years go by that of no baby, and I imagine that Abraham and Sarah were probably started to feeling pretty disappointed. They probably started thinking those things back before God had made this promise to them, right? They had years of waiting, years of disappointment, years of wondering, like, is this really actually gonna happen? So much so that their disappointment actually turns into a little bit of disbelief. Like they take matters into their own hands and they try to fix it themselves and they sort of make it more complicated than it needed to be. Yet despite that moment, years later, God goes up to Sarah and says this. The Lord was gracious to Sarah, as he had said, And the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the very time God had promised him. You see, this was decades after God made the original promise, yet God reminds Sarah that I'm gonna do what I promised. I'm gonna give you a child. And sure enough, a child was born. And at this point, Abraham, this is wild, y'all. Abraham was like 99 years old. Sarah was 90, okay? You can imagine how many like 99, 100-year-old people you see having babies these days, right? Like not that many, right? So you could imagine the sort of disbelief that they were in, that the fact that God kept his promise to them. You see, what Abraham eventually, and Sarah eventually saw is this, is that God, he can be trusted. God can be trusted. You see, not only can God be trusted, but the reason why we can believe that God can be trusted is this: he will do all he has promised to do. He will do all he has promised to do. You see, for Abraham and Sarah, they believed in God. And the reason why they believed God was not based on their circumstances, but was based on who God is. You see, God is trustworthy. God never changes. God never fails. God always keeps his promises. God cannot lie. It is out of his nature to lie. He cannot. So when God makes a promise, he is going to keep it. And so for you, what does that look like? For you, if your life's looking sort of hard right now, or you're wondering what's next, or you're confused about what you believe, or if you're walking through a really hard circumstance and you're finding yourself like, God, can I trust God? I want you to remember this story, that God can be trusted. Why? Because he's gonna do all he has promised to do. It might not be in your timeline, but God does keep his promises. And that's why we can trust him 100% of the time. So to wrap up real quick though, if God can be trusted, which he can, and and it's because he can do all he has promised to do, we need to ask this question: what has God promised? What has God promised? And I want to sort of land the plane here with this. God has not promised that you're gonna have an easy life. God has not promised that life is gonna go the exact way that you want it to go. God has not promised that you're gonna be wealthy one day, or rich, or famous, or TikTok influencer, or a YouTuber, right? God has not promised that to you. But, what has God promised? God has promised that he will never leave you or forsake you. God has promised that he will give you everything that you need. God has promised that he will always be with you. And God has promised that he will work all things together in your life, the good and the bad, for your good. That's what God has promised. And so when it comes to our faith, the reason why we can trust God 100% of the time is not because of our circumstances, but it's because our faith is in who God is, in the character of God. So, do you trust God 100% of the time? You guys are going to have a chance to talk about it in a small group. Let me pray. God, thank you so much for today. God, thank you for this group of middle schoolers. God, thank you that we can trust you 100% of the time, not because our circumstances are exactly how we want them to be, but because of who you are. Our faith is in you, not in our circumstances. And so, God, thank you for that truth. God, I pray for these students that as they have developed a faith of their own, that they can trust you 100%. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, thank you guys for being here this morning. Head to small group and have a great conversation.
You brush past me in the hallway and you don't think I